Hey everybody, it's What the Flick, our discussion of Homeland, episode 9. There's something else going on, and Carrie was right. There is something else going on. There's
several other things.
Definitely something else going on. Have a look.
Welcome back to Islamabad. By the grace of God, we will strike the heaviest blow at the Crusaders who occupy our country.
How long have they flown over our homes? Bombed our weddings and funerals? Murdered our women and children? We will drive them from our skies. We will show their crimes to the world. By the grace of God, will bring us back our brothers. They will march with us to Kabul and raise the flag of God over our country again.
Saul apparently cheats death for the second straight week, when both times I thought...
This is the one.
I was there last week. Last week I saw that episode, the episode 8, twice, where Saul sits in the square, once by myself and then once with my wife, and he puts the gun up to him. And the second time, I still thought he was going to do it.
This time it's going to be different.
Right, this time it's going to be... And then again this week, you think... somehow Saul's not emerging from this, but we don't know what's happened with the car, but obviously...
Holy shit, yeah. Can we start with the ending?
Yeah, start with the end, right.
This show has not been like shameless about cliffhangers, but boy, that's a really good one.
It's a good one, but they can't have... they're in the car backseat together. They got to be fine. It's Saul and Carrie. It shows not... Homeland isn't going to continue with Quinn.
I suppose. He didn't get out of the cockadoodie car. I don't know how they're going to resolve it. I don't know. Maybe this is where Saul finally bites it.
Maybe Saul did die and Carrie doesn't. We don't know. My hunch is that they're going to be together trying to figure out... and figuring out how to get back... What's interesting is that we may now how to get back into the embassy.
Which may not be the place to go because that's been infiltrated.
Well, no, that's clearly going to be the storyline, is that we have a 1979 situation. We have terrorists taking over a U.S. embassy, right. And we should have known that was what was coming. I only knew it when they had Tracy Letts deliver so clearly. Send the Marines out there. And I was like, uh-oh. No, don't send the Marines out there. You said that in too TV away. There's a weakness coming. And then
in the place that is not here.
Right, send them out there so that they are no longer here. But then early on, when they had really what was a fairly pointless scene, except that it established later Quinn being in the... Like they had to have Quinn in the embassy.
Right.
They made a big thing of the logistics.
No,
of Quinn.
you stay here.
And
I'm going to go to the.
And I was like, and I thought that I was like, who cares? Like, what? And then of course there's a reason we care, because they're going to need Quinn in the embassy
inside,
to be, so that we have somebody to follow in there, and then Carrie and probably Saul and some Marines outside.
Yeah. Now.
Sorry, but what we might get for the first time is we never really have had Carrie with a gun. Right? We haven't really had her, she was, in this nonsense season 2 and 3, she was in the, out stuck searching for Osama bin Laden in the, walking around in the TV set that was the abandoned tire factory or whatever the hell that was.
Oh, yeah, her big showdown with Abu Nazir.
Right. So that was silly, but she didn't really have a gun. But this time, there's a possibility that we might actually have
in the field an
action from Saul and Carrie where they're again, where they're crouched behind stuff and shooting at people.
Well, it's true. She didn't have a gun for the whole death of Corey Stoll thing,
right?
The people running into the car. I loved the scene where I was fooled by the ambassador coming to her husband's defense.
I'm such a good TV viewer. I wasn't, but I still thought it was great.
No, that's what I'm saying. I was fooled by it. I thought, oh, gosh, she's messing the whole thing up. It's like, oh, no, she's playing him.
I was like, she's going to come talk to Carrie. She's going to talk to Carrie.
Okay,
no,
okay.
I knew I was coming. But that said, I knew, but I still thought it was good. Because the important thing is not that we know so much also, but that we believe that she would fool her husband.
Sure.
And the great thing is that she gave it a good effort, but he still wasn't biting, because he knows. He didn't make the phone call.
Yeah.
He didn't tell his wife yet. Only at the point where he realized where Mark Moses realized the extent of what he did.
I did a bad thing.
I think maybe they're invading under the secret way into the embassy that I might have told them. Wait, did you send the murders away? Yeah. But really good, really well done. What I like best about Martha, the ambassador, is that we didn't get to see the scene where Carrie and who's the other guy? What's the other guy's name? Her number 2.
Oh. Like Quinn or
no, her the other guy.
Michael O'Keefe.
Michael O'Keefe, right? Yeah. So when Carrie and Michael O'Keefe, I like how we
go from character to actor. Right? You know who we mean.
So when Carrie and Michael O'Keefe, there's no scene where they go to the ambassador and they say, "It's your husband."
Guess what?
Guess what? It's your husband. But here's what we know is that they laid out their case in not a very long period of time, and she went, yeah, that makes sense.
I buy that.
I buy that.
Sure.
I totally buy that. What do you need? What do you need me to do?
Exactly. How can I help at this point? So the craziness, and then again, I'm still a little, I was having this conversation last night with people. We were talking about the show, but we were in front of somebody who was not caught up, so I couldn't go into detail about my whole thing about why it annoyed me that Carrie Carrie let Saul get recaptured when she was perfectly willing to blow him up several weeks earlier because she was still mad about them having killed Life of Pi. But I thought that this week you get more of a sense of her being in charge of the situation and figuring out what's important, what's not, and managing that whole hostage crisis, and which I thought was also a really well executed sequence on the part of whoever directed and edited this episode.
Well, she was in a different place in that first scene where she was willing to kill Saul. First of all, she'd just been had, right? She'd just been tricked and fooled, and they beat her, right? And she didn't know. And she is still emotional. I mean, she is still, you were obviously completely right. What I missed completely was that they didn't just deprive her of her medicines, they gave her something horrible else somehow. I didn't quite get that at the time, but it didn't matter. So she's in a different place when she wanted to kill Saul the first time, and now she's having this awareness. She's seeing these people who she cares about die, and she had what really is the signature line, at least from a political point of view, of the whole show at the end of the last episode, where she says, when she gets to how is saving someone's life the wrong call, but it turns out there are no fucking right calls. Everything we do makes the situation worse.
Yes.
There's no win, and that's that to me is that was a nice little. Yes,
totally.
Yes, right.
But it's funny. I mean, the show is kind of 24 for lefties, I think,
right,
in a certain way.
bit.
Especially because, like, when she's interrogating Duck, I am completely down with the deprivation of his civil liberties.
100%.
Hell yeah, send him to remainder him or whatever.
I'm an American citizen essentially on American soil, and I'm the fucking CIA.
Yeah,
and
exactly. You're going to the black ops jail with a bag on your head, and that'll be good. And I'm like, send him there.
Whatever you need to do.
Exactly.
Right.
So I had to catch myself on that one.
We still have. I'm still. Maybe you're not as much. I'm conflicted or interested, or wish we had a little bit about his motivation. I mean, other than he's just sneaky and wants to feel important and had been marginalized, and he got to feel like a man.
Right. Well, there's the backstory, but then he got busted in some sort of like plagiarism scandal.
Yeah.
So I'm sure it's like he feels less than, and obviously his wife is succeeding, and he's crashing and burning academically,
But she throws out that bone to him, even though we know she's in on it, where she says, you're having an affair, which I thought was a nice way to make him think that she really doesn't know. That was a nice tactic. But it really isn't that. It's not. We have no suggest that what's her name, Tasmin?
You're right, yeah. No, there's definitely nothing sexual going on there.
So I finally figured out why I know her. I mean,
Yes.
It's funny. I'd looked at her. The actress's name is, I want to make sure I get it right, because is Nimrat Kaur.
Right.
And I had, or Kaur, but I had recognized her strongly, and I think she's so beautiful and so great at this. And I'd looked at her, but her IMDb page has nothing. And I was like, how could I have seen her? But I just skipped right over the lunchbox because I didn't recognize the title, but I loved the lunchbox.
Yeah, no, one of our Twitterers pointed out that she was from the lunchbox, and I had forgotten that too. I saw that movie, but I saw it as part of a jury where I was watching about 20 international films in a couple of weeks, and so I remember the movie and I remember her in it, but it didn't connect the two things.
I saw it at Telluride, and I loved it. I was sort of just so sweet, such a lovely movie, but also, man, what a different character.
Yeah, totally.
She turns out she's an actress.
Well, I'll tell you, in an era where like Gabriel Garcia Bernal gets cast as Iranian in Rosewater, and Christian Bale and Joel Edgerton are, Moses and the Pharaoh in Exodus. Thank God for Homeland, because if you're a Middle Eastern or South Asian actor, like this is where the gig is.
Right, they'll put you to work in the right way. So she was, and it's still interesting to what is the ISI? What is there? Who's working for whom? Bunny, Bunny, who met with Saul, I thought was retired. I thought he was former ISI when Saul met with him. Maybe somebody.
Oh, right.
But anyway, he's orchestrating the release. Like, does he know these guys? Does he know about this Plan B? I think it's safe to say that the handsome prince does not.
Exactly. Yeah. There's all these levels of who's in on it and who's not, and it's almost like the handsome prince is there just to keep the show from saying, talking to the Pakistani government or talking to the terrorists. Same. 6 of one, half dozen the other. I
think Bunny and the handsome prince are going to come out as that they're not in on it.
Right.
That they didn't know this part.
Yeah, so that Tasmin can sort of be demonized as the bad apple in the bunch.
I wish they wouldn't, because Tracy Letts has developed so nicely, and he's so good. He's had so many great lines. I was really looking forward to telling these guys to fuck off. And then Carrie's great line, which I mentioned before, give me a minute. Take 10. But like when she says he didn't know about Saul, he didn't know Saul was going to be in the airport to kidnap him. This has to be, he's doing something else. He faked his death not to kidnap Saul. He faked his death to do something bigger, right? Carrie says that to Tracy Letts, and he's like, you don't have any evidence. What are you going on? And I'm thinking, hey, you're proving yourself to be smart. How many times can you possibly be wrong? Please listen to her. Please listen
Carrie,
to her.
She's nuts, but she's always right.
She's always right. Big picture, she's always right. But anyway, just really good stuff. I do like her transformation. I think it's that she definitely wanted to kill Saul then, and I believe that now she wouldn't, that she's coming around to Quinn's way of saying,
right.
What are we doing? What are we doing?
Exactly. So it's not so much a because my original take on it was that wanting to kill Saul was, crazy, frantic, lovesick lady, and then not wanting to kill Saul was, wimpy, uncommittal lady. Like that was sort of the kind of undercurrent. But it's more, it's richer than that. I should have given the show more benefit of the doubt.
I never think of her in that context. I think of her identically to Jack Bauer, just a smarter person.
No, and I do too. And but just the way the specific context of those two instances and her decisions therein felt like she was letting her emotions take over her intellect. But there's more going on than that. And there, as the season unfurls, we're seeing more layers there.
Nice conversation with what's her name? With Mina. Mira.
Yes.
Nice conversation with Mira. Do you think we need more of a Carrie with her kid? Do we think we need another Skype call, or is that? We've got.
I mean, we know it's there, and at some point, it'll probably be a soap opera thing where 2 years on the show will pass, but he'll be 15.
Right.
To make that more interesting. No, I don't know. I think the kid thing is one of the they could have pursued it if they'd felt like it, but I think they've got enough other interesting things on the burner now.
It always is a reminder of what kind of person Carrie is. I mean, again,
Sure.
She was willing to drown the kid, and then she's abandoned her daughter to her sister, and theoretically, in an abstract sense, the kid is probably better off with the sister, who I can't tell whether there's. I get the impression there's a husband there involved in that. I can't remember.
I don't remember.
But she was describing her day and with her other kids, and I thought she said, doesn't matter, but like that sister's, like she needs help.
Sure.
So I just think it's a reminder that the moment that we get super sympathetic to Carrie, we're like reminded, she completely abandoned her kid and was willing to, and for a moment.
She's not good at everything. And hopefully she's sending enough money home that the sister can afford a nanny.
Yeah, she doesn't spend a lot, I don't think, Carrie. She's not a big shopper.
No, I think keeps it pretty lean,
Man, how does
hangs on to those per diems.
One time she had the phone set to, the phone went back and forth between vibrate and ringing, which probably not significant. But I mean, with the Ambien we know she takes, and the mouth guard, and the earplugs, if she doesn't set the phone to ring, she's liable to sleep through an important call. But I like that each time we see this procedure, it's incredibly unglamorous and unsexy for a woman. Like she allows herself to get up, take earplugs out, right? Undo a mouth guard, and then answer the phone. That's it. I don't know. I think it's a really interesting little
That was actually a 6 Feet Under joke one time where David gets a call in the middle of the night. It was like, oh, and then like he takes the earplug, and then, it was all of his sleep, paraphernalia. Well,
and she's got the mask, right?
Right. Well, she's a grinder. I mean, of course, she's got to have the mouth guard, and I'm sure the other stuff is just because I'm sure even in an embassy, Islamabad is probably not the quietest place on earth.
Yeah, but we've been through. She can't sleep. Like she has to take Ambien, and they sort of established that she needed, and she wasn't sleeping.
Right.
So
because that first call to prayer thing goes out at like what 5 a.m. in countries like that, in Muslim countries.
Presumably, yeah. I don't know.
It's you're getting up early whether you want to or not.
Yeah.
So
anyway, great stuff. It's not next week.
Yeah, they're taking Thanksgiving off, so we are too.
Yeah. So, but again, they're killing it. And what I love in the promos too.
They're not telling you anything.
Well, no, but also they're acknowledging, Alonso, that they know seasons 2 and 3 sucked. Because
all the quotes are like, it's back.
It's back. Homeland is back. And they're like, yeah, we know we left. Now we're back.
Please forgive us.
Right. So
but I don't know if they specifically arranged to have the cliffhanger happen before like a week off. But wow, that's smart thinking. Showtime.
Yeah, it's good stuff. And for those people who haven't watched it, I keep telling people, Jank hasn't watched it, and my brother hasn't watched it, so I keep saying, like, you're in great shape. Watch season 1.
Yeah.
Watch season 4.
Skip.
Just be like, yeah, later Brody dies. Later Brody dies.
That'll matter in one flashback, and then that's it.
That's all. Okay, guys, we'll see you in 2 weeks for episode 10 of Homeland.